Okay, hi everybody, it's Robin with Uniquely Robins. We're working on our Witch's Cauldron digital kit from Kelly Watson. Kelly Crafts by Kelly on Etsy. If you'd check her out, I would really appreciate that. This is what we had gotten so far with our book cover. And as you can see through the tissue paper that we put on there, which is not a problem because, like I said, we are going to paint this. I just wanted to show you. I also wanted to let you know too, I don't think I mentioned in the last video, that when you put this to dry, you're going to want to put a book or a box or something that's smaller than it underneath it while it's drying, or else it will stick completely to your pad or your desk or whatever you're setting it on to dry, and you don't want that. So, and we have a couple of bubbles here, so we're just going to pop those bubbles and push that down. And as I said, we are going to paint this, so you're not going to notice that once we get it painted. I always end up with a couple of bubbles anyway. But that just adds to the character of it once you get it painted. Now I did flip this over and cut the excess off up just all but a little bit that I wanted to fold around the edge of the book. And there were a couple of spots that I glued down. And this is still kind of tacky. I mean, it's not sticky or anything like that. I did stick some glue up underneath a couple of these spots to get the bubbles out. But it's not wet or anything like that, but it's just feels a little sticky. And the longer you let it dry, the more that will go away. But we're going to go ahead and paint this. I'm just debating on what color I want to paint it. And I'm going to use my glass mat to paint this on, I think, if it's long enough. Maybe it's not long enough. Okay. I thought that would be easier to clean, but I guess it's not long enough, so we'll get the other one. And I haven't cleaned this mat up from where it was drying yet. So let me just take my scissors here and kind of scrape that off of there a little bit so it doesn't stick to our book. And this is what will happen to your whole pad if you leave it set on there without setting it up on something. Before I got to it, it already started to dry, but it does come off, you know, fairly easy with some soap and water. I'm just not worried about it right this minute because I want to get this painted. I'm debating on whether I want to paint this red or black. And I'm thinking I'm going to put a base coat of red and then dry brush black on top of that. So the red will come through in spots. I think that's what we're going to do. So let me get some red paint. I apologize that I'm not all there and chipper today. I'm not having a very good day today. I just want to make sure this is up against this best as I can. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect because we want it to look kind of ragged and old. This is Waverly chalk paint is what I have here. I'm going to use for the red. It's a lacquer. Does it have a color? sienna color on it. There's a number, it's 60701E. Lacquer. Chalk lacquer. I thought this would be a good color. Okay, I'm just going to use my big brush again because I washed those out really well after I used the Mod Podge on it. You definitely want to do that. And the Mod Podge I used is a matte finish. Alright, so we're going to get my brush to go in there. We're just going to brush the whole thing. And I will paint this front and back. Before I do the back, though, because I'll probably do this not on camera, painting the back of it, I am going to put a piece of this envelope, this tie-back envelope, down through the middle. Probably from where this black is to where this black is, in that middle section, to kind of make sure it's a little extra sturdy. This is a nice deep, I guess you could say a blood red color. And this chalk paint does wash off pretty easily. As long as you get it before it dries completely. Kind of dabbing it around where we put the string because I want to make sure I get it down in all them cracks and crevices. I'm putting a pretty thick coat on here, so. You can see a little bit of the wrinkles now, but when we dry brush the black on top of this, it will really bring that out. I kind of make like a witch's spell book or grimoire, whatever you, I'm not sure exactly what that's called. I think it's a grimoire. I usually just put magic spells when I post a book like this. Not really into the witchy stuff, but some people are. I have made a great big one for my daughter and her best friend, who is kind of my adopted daughter. She was always at our house when she was younger. She's my second daughter, I guess I could say. Okay. I should have left that alone. All right. Just a decent coat on there. I think I've got all the cracks and the crevices, and we'll let that dry. So I'll set that aside to dry. And again with this too, before it dries completely, you're going to want to set it up on something, a couple of boxes underneath it. I had a couple of these instant ink boxes. If you get your ink through Instant Ink, you can use those boxes. That's what I set up under mine to hold them up. If you don't use Instant Ink, you might want to check into that. I think I have a link below for that. If you click on that link, I get just a tiny discount if you use my link below. But you should check it out. You can get I think for $26 you can print up to 700 pages a month, and they do roll over. So if you don't use them all, you can roll them over, which is good. Okay, the next thing we're going to work on is our pages, our spine for our pages. This is the part that every time I make one of these books, it takes me a minute to remember how I did it before. I don't know why. For some reason, my brain gets complicated with this. The easiest way that I can tell you to do it, I got paint on my desk. I was trying to avoid that. Okay. What I did was I just call these little tick marks in here, the little marks that are in the board. And I just went 1, 2, 3, made a score line. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and made a score line. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and made another score line. And then back to the 1, 2, 3, score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, score. And just do that all the way down. You're going to go 3 and score, 6 and score, 6 and score, 3 and score, 6 and score, 6 and score, 3 and score, all the way down. And the reason that you want to do that is because where you've scored on the sixes, I'm not sure how I'll be able to tell you or not. The sixes are just a little over a ½ inch. And the threes are a little over 1/4 inch, if you want to go that way. But then what I do next is I go to the ones that I've scored 6. And I know this is hard to see on this red paper. You got 2 6s together, and I want to fold those together. And then the little ones we're going to fold up. So then we're going to go to our 6s again, the bigger ones, and fold them together. And the little one that's right before it, we're going to fold up. Both of those fold up. So what you're going to have, I should have done a little bit more, but so what you're going to have is you're going to have to where these are your 2 long pieces and these are your 2 long pieces. And then your little piece is going to lay flat in the bottom. So your little piece is going to have a flat spot on the bottom of it. Okay, and this is what's going to hold your pages, or the big ones. And then the flat part, the little part that's flat on the bottom, is going to be glued down to the page. I hope that's not, I'm not confusing you with that. It's just the easiest way I know how to tell you how to do it. Let me go ahead and finish this page. Maybe it'll help if I do it more than once. Okay, so this is big, that's big. So we went 1, 2, 3, score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, score. This is just the easiest way for me. 1, 2, 3. You know, sometimes my brain doesn't work like other people's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. And depending on how many pages you're putting in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. I probably shouldn't talk while I'm doing this because I'll mess it up for sure. 1, 2, 3, wait, 2 6s, okay. 1, 2, 3, and score. You can just keep adding papers to this to make more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. Gotta keep my paper from moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. 1, 2, 3, and score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. And you just want to make sure when you add paper to this, if you want more than what you have, that you, let's see, here's another piece of paper here. So we have a long one. So this next one's going to be a long one. So you want to add your paper right up against that score line. So when you start, you're starting with a long one, if that makes sense. Okay, now we're going to go back and fold. So we're going to pick up our big ones. I always fold the big ones first. That I just find that easier. So you just go down through and fold your 2 big ones together. Might not be easier for you. You might find an easier way for you to do it. So you do you. That's just easier for me. Okay, so now we want to fold our little ones. And those both fold the other direction. They fold up so that they will have a flat spot. So I take this one and I fold it up. Try to do this up in the air. And take this one and fold it the same direction. And then when you pull it down, you'll have a flat spot. I really hope I'm not confusing you on this. Okay, so the next one. Fold. Fold. And the next one. Fold it up. And fold it up. And then we're to our, if we want to add that in there. So we have our folds, our up folds this way. Oops, I missed one. Missed a little fold. Okay, come on. It seems a lot more complicated than it really is. That one. Alright, I'm going to fold that down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want at least 7. So we're going to add to this. And remember, we're going to put it right up against that fold. Making sure I didn't have it upside down. Try not to get this on my bone folder. Okay. Let me move this real quick so I get this glued down. Sometimes it's hard to think. I get tired of thinking. Okay. Just make sure that's down really well. All right. And we're going to go back to where we left off. I'm going to go kind of backwards if this will fit. Yeah. Okay, so we have our 3 here and then our 6. I'm going to make this is going to go a little backwards for you. just because it's easier for me to have it all flat on here. So that's where that one is. So then we want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. And 1, 2, 3, and score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, I missed one, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I want 7, so that's our 7th one. So 1, 2, 3. That'll be our flat part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going over an extra one, so we have a little bit to glue down. And that should be. Now, a lot of people do these a lot of different ways than I do. This is just the way I have always done it, and I find once I once I remember how to do it, to me it's easier. But there may be a different way that's easier for you, and then that's the way you should go. It shouldn't be hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that's what I want, is I want 7 things to glue to. Almost lost that. Oh, that's not what I want. I want the cutter. Now I could just leave this on here because I am going to go, this will be in our spine. This part right here will be in our spine. Okay? And then this is just extra that's going to go across to give it a little more sturdiness. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit. Probably to about there. And I am going to add this to this other side just to give it a little extra on that side as well. I'm putting this on the little part. And I'll get a book and show you what I'm talking about with this. I think I have one that I got the stuff out, guts out of. I'm not sure. Okay. So the next step that I do, since these are going to be together, is I go through and I glue, and you can use double-sided tape for this. You don't have to use glue. I've just always used the glue. So I'm going to glue these together. Now, some people, this is where mine differs. Because normally when people make these kind of spines, well, this isn't the word, I don't think. They probably still do this. I'm not sure about that. Let me get this done and then we'll talk about it. You just want to make sure that your flat pieces, the little pieces, you're not gluing down. You're just gluing where your big pieces go together. So your 6s, you want to glue together. I know this, to me, sounds complicated, but it's really not. Once you do it once or twice, it's really not complicated. It just seems that way when you're trying to explain to somebody how to do it that may never have done this before. You just want to make sure you glue those together really well. Okay, so then here's our big ones again. We're just going to glue them together. Oops. Glue up on the top. Okay. I don't want to glue on the little parts, just the big parts right now. And I lay them over and burnish them together. If I have made this to where you don't understand what I'm doing, please let me know, and I will try to figure out a way to explain it to you a little better. Because I really like these spines. And I think you will too once you get to doing it. Glue stuck on everything. That's the only bad part about that Mod Podge is it just wants to stick to everything. Okay. Let me get a hold of it here. It's more awkward, I would say, than anything. Just trying to get it to go the way you want it to go. Okay. Keeping a hold of it. It's a little squirrely. But I think that once you do this a couple of times, you'll really like it, and I should use it more often than I do, actually. Especially if you're using a gutted book cover. But you can use it in regular hard book covers too that you make. It doesn't have to be a gutted book cover. And again, I'm only gluing the larger parts together. We're not messing with the little ones yet, just the larger ones. Excuse me. I had to bring my coffee up today too. You ever get to where you just don't feel good? You don't feel like doing anything. I don't like that feeling. I'm going to try to keep busy to get out of that funk. Okay. Get a hold. Okay. Kind of like a puppet's mouth. Hard to get a hold of sometimes. Okay. I think we got them all. Yes. Yes, I think we did. This one's not quite done yet. Okay. Now, I need to put one more score line in this other side where I glued that piece on, and I just want to put it the 3. So I go from here 1, 2, 3. You don't have to, but I like to, just gives me a little flexibility in case my project that I'm working on has a really deep weld spine to it. Okay. All right. So, okay, there's our pages. Now let me get, I think I have another one that doesn't. Maybe I don't. Looking real fast to see. Alright, well, this is one I made, a cover that I made, a hard cover that I made. So it is flat here. But this is how this is going to go in your book. As my book is still wet because we just painted it, so I don't want to get it out yet. So, if we put this in here, it fits pretty good, actually. This spine on this one is, let's see, 2 3/4. And you can adjust the height of these however you want, and you can adjust the width of these down here however you want. Just keep in mind that you're going to do 2 of the tall ones and then 1 short one when you're scoring. 2 of the tall ones, 1 short one. 2 of the tall ones, 1 short ones. Because your tall ones are going to be glued together. Your short ones are what's going to be glued down to the book. And I put the extra on there so it'll go over a little bit more, and then we'll have our inside cover on top of it. That's going to secure it in there really well. We can't put it in our book yet because it's still drying. But I wanted to show you real quick. There's 2 ways that you can do your inside pages. Because these are what your pages are going to be attached to. Most people who make a spine similar to this will put their pages in like this. So each page is going to be on one of these. Okay? And that way you can make these pockets if you want, or not. That's up to you. But each one will slide on there and will be glued on this side and that side of this little hinge, I guess what you could call it. All right? Most people do it that way. And I have done it that way. I've done it that way for certain books. This book, however, I want to have more pages in it than this will allow me. So what I am going to do is, I want my pocket at the top, because, you know, I like a lot of pockets in my books. Lots of places to put stuff. So I'm going to glue this down the bottom and the side, just like you would if you were making a pocket for any book. Okay. All right. Now this will be my top, because that's where my pocket is. Now instead of putting mine on opened up and on either side of this, I'm going to glue it to the front side. Let me make another one here because I'm going to show you why I do it this way. Please let me know if this sounds overcomplicated to you, because it really shouldn't be overcomplicated, and I could be overcomplicating it trying to explain to you how I'm doing it. That could be my fault, and maybe I need to figure out how to explain it a little easier. Okay, so we'll always make sure you got your top where you want it. So we're going to make this the top. And actually I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to write on there, top, up there, bottom, down there. And this is going to be covered with another piece of paper if I can't get all that off of there. So that way I'm always orientated and I know this is the top. So I always want my openings to be at the top. Okay, so we're going to start with this first one. Keeping my, at the top. That's the top. Okay, so those are the tops. So we're going to put our first one on. This is my top. I'm just putting glue on the large section, what I call the sixes, on the front side. Okay. And then checking my top. That's my top. And that says top. So I'm going to put this right up against there, so it's laying flush. Make sure it's even top to bottom. And press it down. Okay. And this is probably much easier if you do it once it's in the book, but we're letting our book dry, so try to get other stuff done while we're letting it dry. Okay, now I'm going to go to the other side and try not to get on my little part down here. I just want to keep it. I can see my score lines, so I want to keep it on this top part here. There's my top. That says top, so I want it to go this way. And I put it right up against that score line. Whoops. Make sure my pages are even. That's more important than getting close to the score line, is making sure your pages are even. You want that. Okay. So now instead of having one page for every hinge, we're going to have 2 pages for every hinge. One thing I did forget to do was put my score line on my paper. Let me pull that up. All right. You knew I was going to mess something up, right? But this is how you fix it. Okay. I still want my top. Doesn't matter as much, but I like to keep track of where it's at. Okay, and these are 6. So we're going to go from our end to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to make a score line on this page. Okay, turn it over and do it on that other side. Give it some flexibility there. Okay. All right. Now, let's try that again. Here's our top. That says top. Back on, and it's usually only the back page that I need to put the score line on, but you could put it on both of them. It doesn't really matter, just gives you more flexibility to open the page. Pretty sure this is how I did it before. It's been a while since I've made one of these kind. But the more spines that you have in your little repertoire, then the more kinds of books that you can make. Okay, so this is going to be glued down in your book. So then you have 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, 4 page. Okay, so for every, instead of just having 2 for every hinge, we're going to have 4. You see what I mean? Because otherwise, if we would have just put it like this, then we would have just had 1 page. Now we have 2, which gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. Okay, and we just do that all the way through the book. I hope I'm not boring you to death. We'll do one more. Actually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 of these we're going to have to, let me set this aside for a minute. We're going to have to score. And I haven't glued these yet, so it doesn't matter which. I just want to score it on the inside. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, score. Score. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and score. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of this stuff sounds more complicated than it really is when you're not right there. Usually if I see something, I can do it, but it's always easier when you're right there with the person to do it with them. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do the back side of that one? No, I don't think I did. Okay. So we'll do a couple more pages just so you can get an idea. I'll try not to keep talking and confusing you. I like to fold mine both directions so it breaks that paper down in that fold a little bit, gives you a little more flexibility with it. I fold it one way and then I fold it the other way. I burnish it both times. I know, I just thought I'm going to quit trying to explain and just let you watch. And here I go, Gavin. That just gives you a little bit of the fundamentals that when you burnish this down, what you're doing is you're breaking those fibers loose a little bit. Gives you more flexibility of your paper. And this is cardstock at 65-pound weight, and it is the same that I print my kits out on. That neem, it's just red instead of white. I like red. Not everybody does, but I do. Okay. I'm just going to do a couple of these real fast on camera for you. Then I'll let you go. Okay, so our first side, our top, big side. Remember, the big side is the one that we didn't fold. Sorry. Forgot I hadn't glued these yet. Made our little pocket yet. Okay. So the first one, always make sure I'd rather line my pages up than worry about where it hits this. Okay. Come on. Okay. Alright, fold one. You don't have to put your pockets in every one. I just like to. I like lots of pockets. Okay. one. On top. Top. Page, this one's going on here. Excuse me. Couldn't bring my drink up either. You can make these pages cascade too if you wanted to. Make some of them, make them shorter and shorter and shorter, which would be kind of cool too. It's probably easier if you glued all your pockets together first. Well, not easier, but faster. I think this red is going to really make a nice background for these digital kits. And I love red. Red's my color. I don't get to use it very often. A lot of people don't like red journals, but a lot of people don't like dark colored journals, but I kind of like them all. Guess I could have turned the camera off until I got these all glued up, but that's up ways. And if it helps you to write on the middle of your paper, just make sure you put it in the middle or wherever you're going to cover with different paper, top and bottom. Go for it. Whatever helps you remember. I just didn't fold these yet. Sometimes my husband wonders about some of the stuff I do, and I just tell him there's a method to my madness. Usually. Doesn't always turn out, but you gotta try, even if it doesn't turn out. And if you mess up on folding this spine, don't feel bad. I always have extra paper because here's one that I messed up. And I think I have 2 or 3 more over there that I messed up. Trying to fold that. As it took a while for me to remember how I did it the last time. And this may not even be the exact way I did it the last time. Usually have 2 or 3 different ways of doing a lot of things. Okay. Now, there's the upside, 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 upside. Start with this one. We want the one that's not burnished or folded on the outside, which is going to be toward the front of the book. And the one that is on the end, which it doesn't really matter, you can do it the other way. You can fold them both if you'd like. It just makes one of your pages a tiny bit smaller than the other, which I don't mind. Okay, now this is the one I did fold. So it's going to go on this side. Okay. That's our top. And I always put the side that I glued when I glue my pocket closed, the side that I glued on the inside. I just think it makes a nicer edge. It doesn't really matter, but it's just one of my personal preferences. I like the folded edge to be toward the out. This will be our folded one, top side up. You want to make sure that you put a good amount of glue on here. I mean, you don't want a tremendous amount, but a good amount. Inside again. Okay, up against that fold. Make sure your pages are even, or as even as you can get them. And you probably want to go back there and burnish these on there. That kind of opens them fibers up and lets that glue get down in there. I'm just trying to do it a little fast, so I don't have you here forever. But this is one of the crucial parts of this type, so I wanted to make sure I got all the pages in there for you. Oh, I had an extra one. Extra ones are always nice. A lot of people find it easier to put these pages on after you glue it in the book. Personally, I find it easier to do it this way and then glue the whole thing in the book. But that's just my personal preference. I'm just going to burnish these down. Ah, that's why I had an extra one. I didn't put it on the back of that one. It's a good thing we went through there. I missed one. What did I get for gabbing? I thought I counted those out right. But you never know. Oh. For a minute I thought I didn't check that to see if it was in the right direction, but I got it the right way anyway. Okay. All right. So we have all of our pages in. And if you turn it over, you see where all the little what I call threes, but all the little, they're laying all flush. So all of this will be glued down to the book, and you want to glue these really well right through here where we have these at. And then it'll glue right into the book, just like that. Okay, and tomorrow we will see how our paint is doing on our book itself. It should be dry by tomorrow, and then we should be able to paint the inside. Then that'll dry, and then we'll be able to dry brush the outside. We will probably go ahead and, after we paint the inside and it dries, tomorrow we'll paint the inside, let it dry. I'll do it in the morning, because it's the same way you paint the outside. The only difference is I am going to put this piece of tie back in there in the crease and let it come over. So this is our spine. I'm going to let it come over so much. It'll just give a little extra support in there. So I'll glue that down to go ahead and paint the inside. I'll try to do that either tonight or in the morning so that we can get started on putting the rest of our stuff in. But we can go ahead and decorate our pages with it before we put it in the book. That's not a big deal. We can do that. So that's probably what we will do tomorrow, is we will start cutting our papers. And actually I have this set here. This set here, other than my ephemera pieces, which are back here. I will try to go ahead and get those cut out. Those are for another book. Hopefully to do a one signature journal along with this project. We'll see. I don't know if we'll get it done this week or not, but we will definitely get this project done this week. Whether we do any extra with this kit, I can't guarantee that, because this takes a while. But I will have all of the ephemera cut out, so we can start doing that. I'm probably going to print out some more of these to make tags out of for our big pockets, because I think all these will be used. And I think so far, the one that was picked so far, I haven't checked a couple other places. People sometimes email me, sometimes they message me. But so far, the From Chaos to Order looks like what we're going to use for our cover. So anyway, I will see you tomorrow, and we will put our pages on there and paint the inside of our book. Or I'll do that in the morning so it can dry. So we'll mainly work on this tomorrow. And today's what, Wednesday? So that's March, Thursday. Then Friday, I'll try to do 2 videos tomorrow for tomorrow and Friday. I may have a Saturday video this week if we don't get this done in time. Because Friday I won't be able to make a video. I'll try to make one for Friday on Thursday. But in case I can't, my husband has a procedure that he is has to go do, and I have to go with him because he can't drive home. And I have no idea how long it's going to take, so. But there will be a video up Friday, whether I do it on Thursday or Friday. I just confused myself. How about that? That doesn't take much. Have a great day, guys. Stay safe out there. Please, please stay safe. Show the girls below some love. Thanks for subscribing and sharing my channel. I really appreciate that so much. If you know anybody who'd be interested in my channel, I'd appreciate it if you would share my channel with them. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers here in the next couple of months. The very first video I did is on a flip through of a journal that I made that everybody seems to love, Dusty Rose. It's the very first video I have on here. When we hit 1,000, I will be giving that journal away as the prize. So, and maybe a couple other things too. You never know. So, have a great day. Bye-bye. Stay safe.